Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and good morning everyone. I am Devi Permatasari, and I would like to continue the explanation from my friend before. And now we are going to the material what is wild and isolated children. If I mention the words wild and isolated children, maybe you can imagine what kind of it is. But now I'm going to show up the definition that we have got. As you can see on your screen, wild children, also called as a feral children. Then, what is feral children? Feral children is a human who has lived without human contact from a very young age, or when human hasn't introduced to a language. They also has no experience of human care, of loving or social behavior, and also of human language. Feral children raised by wild animals or living in the woods, also in an isolation room. Jadi, wild and isolated children itu biasa disebut sebagai feral children, di mana feral children merupakan manusia yang telah tinggal tanpa adanya human contact sejak mereka masih usia sangat muda atau ketika belum diperkenalkan kepada sebuah bahasa. Mereka juga tidak mempunyai pengalaman tentang how is human care, how is loving or social behavior, and then how is human language. Feral children ini ditumbuh besarkan atau dirawat oleh wild animals such as dog or monkey, and then they usually lived in the woods. Biasanya tinggal di hutan, but some of them also lived in an isolation room, such as gudang. Dan it is one of the fundamental tasks of psycholinguistics to explain how children learn the language, which separated into two distinct. First one is speech projection, and the second one is speech comprehension. Both of the material have been learned in the group discussion before. At the birth, we cannot comprehend or produce speech. Not up to the age 4 years we learn the basic of our language, although it is just a round passive, elaborate syntactic structure, and bunch of vocabularies. However, still there are some questions about it is also true to the feral children. Would a child grown in total isolation develop a language? And how about the critical age issues for language learning occur towards them? Then we enter to the part, how are their language? How are feral children language? There are some theories which say that the language was inborn and instinctive. In 16th century, Montaigne believed that although children are not exposed to a language, they still able to speak the language. And then, just similar with the Montaigne, Noam Chomsky published a groundbreaking book called as Syntactic Structures. It proposed a novel idea: all human beings be born with an innate understanding of how language works. And then another theories came from Psammaticus, an Egyptian parrot during the 7th century, also believed that language, since the poor children isolated from any linguistic influences would develop the language that they had been born with. He did an experiment. He isolated 2 children. Then it was reported the children spoke a few words of Virgian, a language of present day in Turkey. And then the last theories came from King James V in Scotlandia. It is in the 15th century. King James V of Scotlandia did a similar experiment with the Psammaticus. These studies gave the similar result with the Psammaticus. The children spoke the language that is used in the place where they were born. Then the conclusion of theory theories above itu menyatakan bahwa bahasa itu bersifat inborn atau bawaan dari lahir dan juga instinktif atau naluriah. Jadi bahasa itu sudah tertanam dalam setiap individual masing-masing. So ini menyatakan bahwa anak yang feral children, anak yang diisolasi dan ditumbuh besarkan oleh animal, tetap bisa berbicara sesuai dengan bahasa yang mereka bawa dari lahir. However, some hypotheses also appear which say that tend to be concerned with the origin of the first language and were only secondarily concerned with the precise way in which individual infants acquire speech. It was Akbar, a Mughal emperor of India, desired to learn whether language was innate or acquired through exposure to the speech of adults. He believed that language was learned by people listening to each other, and therefore a child could not develop language alone. Jadi ada beberapa teori juga yang mengatakan atau menyatakan bahwa bahasa itu tidak inborn. Dia bukan bawaan dari lahir atau tidak bersifat naluriah, melainkan bahasa itu di-acquire atau diperoleh dari lingkungan. Akbar ini percaya bahwa anak tidak bisa mengembangkan bahasa dengan sendirinya. Mereka butuh pemerolehan atau acquisition. Akbar did experiment. He ordered a house pill for 2 infants and put a mute nurse to care for them. The children did not acquire speech. Jadi dalam eksperimennya dia menempat tinggalkan 2 infants, kemudian dirawat oleh 1 perawat yang bisu, di mana dia mendapatkan bahwa anak tersebut tidak memperoleh bahasa karena perawatnya tadi bisu. Dan dari situ Akbar prove his hypothesis bahwa language is acquired and does not simply emerge spontaneously in the absence of exposure to the speech. Jadi bahasa itu menurut Akbar diperoleh, dia tidak spontan hadir dalam diri manusia. Just similar with Akbar, ada teori yang menyatakan bahwa bahasa itu diperoleh dari lingkungan anak-anak. Teorinya namanya behavioristic. Dia berpendapat bahwa anak akan berbicara bahasa yang digunakan di lingkungannya. Then how about the isolated children? In some cases, this child abandonment was due to the parents rejecting a child's severe intellectual or psychical impairment. They all lack the basic social skills that are normally learned in the process of enculturation, or the process by which an individual adapts the behavior patterns of the culture in which he or she is immersed. They almost always have impaired language ability and mental function. The impaired ability to learn language after having been isolated for so many years is often attributed to the existence of a critical period for language learning, and is taken as evidence in favor of the critical period hypothesis. The fact the feral children lack the ability to pinpoint the role of socialization in human development. Jadi kesimpulannya, meskipun akhirnya seorang feral children dapat berbicara sebuah bahasa, mereka akan tetap mengalami yang namanya kekurangan, baik dalam segi bahasa, kognitif, dan fisiknya. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Puja Lestari. I'm from group 10 and I want to explain the last material is example cases. Okay, the first is Genie. Gany is the epitome of an American feral child who was a victim of severe abuse, neglect, and social isolation. Her circumstances are prominently recorded in the annals of linguistic and abnormal child psychology. When she was approximately 20 months old, her father began keeping her in a locked room. During this period, he almost always trapped her into a child toilet or bound her in a crib with her arms and legs immobilized, forbade anyone from interaction with her. Gany adalah nama samaran anak liar Amerika yang menjadi korban pelecehan parah, penelantaran, dan isolasi sosial. Keadaannya secara mencolok dicatat dalam sejarah linguistik dan psikologi anak yang abnormal. Ayahnya selalu mengurungnya dalam ruangan terkunci, melarangnya siapapun untuk berinteraksi dengannya. Tingkat keterasingannya mencegahnya untuk berbicara untuk jumlah yang signifikan, dan sebagai hasilnya, dia tidak memperoleh bahasa selama masa kanak-kanaknya. Pelecehannya menjadi perhatian otoritas kesejahteraan anak Los Angeles pada November 1970, ketika dia berusia 13 tahun 7 bulan. And the second is Russian bird boy. H1 found 7 location Kirovsky, Volgograd, Russia years in confinement 7. Apparently, this boy was raised by his mother in a tiny 2-room apartment surrounded by bird cages. Confined in this apartment since birth, he never learned to speak. Instead, he chirps like a bird. The boy was fed and cared for by his mother, but was never spoken to. After being researched from his home in Kirovsky, Volgograd, Russia by social workers, he was taken into care. Dia diperlakukan seperti hewan peliharaan oleh ibunya yang berusia 31 tahun yang tidak pernah berbicara dengannya. Pihak berwenang Rusia mengatakan anak itu tidak terluka secara fisik, tetapi menderita sindrom Mongli, dinamai sesuai karakter buku hutan yang dibesarkan oleh hewan liar dan tidak dapat terlibat dalam komunikasi normal manusia. Dia dipindahkan ke rumah sakit jiwa tetapi kemudian segera dikirim ke pusat perawatan psikologi menurut laporan. And the last case is Jeffrey Baldwin. H1 found 6, location Toronto, Canada, years in confinement 5. Jeffrey Baldwin was confined to his room for years by his maternal grandparents, Alpha Batino and Norman Kidman, who were both sentenced to life imprisonment on 10 July 26. Jeffrey died at the age of 6, when he weighed just 20 pounds and stood just 37 inches tall. Jeffrey Baldwin adalah seorang anak Kanada yang kematiannya dikarenakan shock psikotik setelah bertahun-tahun dianiaya oleh kakek dan neneknya Alpha Batino and Norman Kidman. Menurut kesaksian pengadilan, Jeffrey dan saudara perempuannya dikurung di kamar terkunci pada malam hari dengan ventilasi tungku tertutup, dan ketika dibebaskan dipaksa makan dengan tangan mereka dari tikar di lantai. Pada malam 30 November 2002, kakek nenek Jeffrey menelpon 911 untuk melaporkan bahwa Jeffrey sudah tidak bernafas. Okay, I think enough for me. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.